Is this the first one? Yeah, this one. So this is a Tiny Terror prototype, which is dated the 14th of November 2005. This was built. It's dated in there. Yeah. So this was what it was designed on. So it was tag board, not fully point to point, but no PCB. Still sounds great. I actually carried this around in a bag just like this and did a load of gigs with it at the time. It was great, you know, it did the job perfect. Yeah, so that is the original Tiny Terror prototype. You know, you can turn up with your Tiny Terror in your little gig bag and do a show. If you don't want to drive, you can travel on the bus or tube, you know. That was the idea behind it. Portability, really. It's portable power amp distortion, as that's what Tiny Terror really was based on. Then I thought it would be nice to have two Tiny Terrors in one box, and so you could switch between channels, you know. You could have one cranked more than the other to get like level for leads and stuff like that. So we did the Dual Terror, was the next one we did. So in the end, I did it with two separate channels. Ended up 30 watts, 4 L84s, you know. Because we had some people asking for something similar to a Tiny Terror, but with a bit more power. So, you know, I wanted to keep it all tube at the time. So the Dual Terror, you know, it had a Tiny Terror channel, but it also had another channel which had a cathode follower on it, and that was when the first 4-tube, 2-tube switch that's dealing with the transformer impedance in the background came about. That was the first amp to have that we did. So we had some people started asking me for effects loops, so I had to do a new version that did overdrive in the preamp as well as the power amp, called the Dark Terror, which had the buffered effects loop, tube buffered effects loop on it, and but obviously to add that I had to change the preamp, you know, to make it like 4 stages of gain. So that at lower gain levels it will drive the power amp if you're not worried about the effects loop. So the next Terror actually came about talking to Jim Root. So I heard through the grapevine he was wanting a signature model that was affordable to his fans. He didn't want anything super high-end expensive, you know, like. So I figured, well, why don't we do a Terror, you know, and put his Rockaverb channel on that, you know. And so I suggested it to him, and he actually liked the idea. I said, well, instead of going cheap, we can just go smaller and get the cost down that way, just by miniaturizing. And then you got something that's affordable, that's all tube, that's built properly, that sounds like correct, you know, it sounds really good. Sounds a lot like that Rockaverb channel, obviously in a single channel Terror package, you know. Yeah, the Shiny Terror was actually, someone had the idea of discontinuing the Tiny Terror, give it a Viking funeral. So what we did was, we did a small run of stainless steel Tiny Terrors, hand wired, built in a UK factory. You know, belt on tube sockets, everything really good. Total point to point, not even a tag board in there, you know. You know, really nice mustard caps, all that stuff. Carbon comp resistors, you know, which may be noisier in some cases, but I do love the way they sound. They tend to pass a signal in a certain way, you know. They were great in that anyway, you know. Moving forward, we'll probably do something at some point, something new. Not quite sure what that's going to be, but I've got a few ideas. You know, maybe something with 2 channels. You know, we'll see how we go, you know. There might be a few options there, you know. It's definitely a handy package,